Alright, welcome back, and here we go, Chapter 2 review for Algebra 1. Number 1 is d equals 6. Number 2, m is negative 5/12. I'm going to give you some of these answers. Some of them I will review in detail. W is negative 8, and on number 4, m equals 3. Okay. Let's look at number 2. I know some of you are having problems with fractions. In order to get m by itself, I need to subtract 3/4 from each side. Minus 3/4 here and minus 3/4 there. So m is equal to 1/3 minus 3/4. Well, in order to subtract fractions, I need a common denominator. So I'm going to make it 12. That means multiply this fraction by 4. 4, and multiply this fraction by 3. So then I get 4/12 minus 9/12, and that gives me negative 5/12. Let's see. On number 3, make sure you're doing distributive property. 4 times 3 is 12w. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. 8 times 2 is 16w, and 8 times 3 is 24. Number 4, if we have a variable term on each side, eliminate one of them. I usually lean towards eliminating the smaller one, minus 5m on each side, then that cancels out, and we have 3m plus 7 is equal to 16, and then safety circle here. Subtract 7 and divide by 3. Alright. Let's see. Next page. Number 5. Very important. Circle the k over 4. Do not multiply by 4 on each side first. Add 7 to both sides. Add 7. You get 5 here. So k over 4 is equal to 5. Multiply by 4 on both sides, and you get k is equal to 20. Number 6, you can solve this like a proportion. Okay, we have 2 down here, so we can cross multiply. Or, remember, you can always get rid of a fraction by multiplying by the denominator. Multiply by 2, multiply by 2. Now here's a little something I noticed between 2 and 4. If I multiply by 4 on each side, this is going to cancel out, and this is going to simplify with the 2 right here to give me 2. So I'm left with 2h is equal to h minus 3. Then I can subtract an h here, subtract 1h. There's a variable term on each side, so don't be tempted to divide by 2. We want to get the variables on one side. Subtract 1h. This cancels out, and h is equal to negative 3. Number 7, just multiply by 3 on each side. That cancels this out. You're left with r plus 4 equals 7 times 3, or is 21. And then subtract 4, you get 17. Number 8 is negative 33. You can work that out yourself. I'll look at number 9 with you. 2 times negative 3 times the absolute value of negative 1. Remember, always put parentheses when replacing a variable with a value. Times plus negative 3, absolute value, minus absolute value, y is 2, and z is negative 3. Okay, now, absolute value doesn't mean that everything inside there automatically turns positive. Okay, so first here we have negative 6. Now, absolute value inside here, negative 1 plus negative 3 gives me negative 4. Minus 2 times negative 3 gives me negative 6. Before you try to evaluate this, rewrite this applying the absolute value and replacing the absolute value bars with parentheses. So -6, absolute value of -4 is +4, minus absolute value of -6 is +6. Okay, so now I've applied the absolute value because there was only one number, and then that became positive. Now I can evaluate this. -24 minus 6 is equal to -30. Remember, when you're evaluating, there need to be two cases. Either this in here is -11, or that is +11. So set up the two cases. P minus 6 is equal to -11, or P minus 6 is equal to +11. There should be two solutions. In this case, those are -5 and 17. Okay, over here, I know you guys struggle with fractions, some of you, so let's set this one up. 1/3 D minus 6 is equal to -15, and 1/3 D minus 6 is equal to +15. Now, safety circle goes around the entire variable expression with its coefficient, so we add 6 to both sides first. And so then this cancels out. I get 1/3 D is equal to -9. Over here, same thing. Add 6 to both sides. Cancels out. 1/3 D is equal to 21. To get rid of the fraction, I can either multiply by the denominator, which is times 3, or multiply by the reciprocal, which is 3 over 1. Same thing as multiplying by 3. So times 3 here. Same thing in the other equation. This cancels out. D is equal to -27. Or D is equal to 63. Remember, there are two answers to an absolute value equation. Okay, that should say -27 right here. All right, solving for a variable. I want to solve for y, so I've got to get rid of the n. That gives me 2/5 y is equal to m minus n. And then, to get rid of the 2/5, multiply by its reciprocal, times 5 over 2. Very important, you have to put parentheses around this when you're multiplying, because the entire expression needs to be multiplied by that. So then you get y equals 5 over 2 times m minus n. Here we have a variable term on each side. We're solving for d. And so we have to subtract one of them first. And then I get 5d minus 3c is equal to f. Get the d by itself by adding 3c to each side. 5d is equal to f plus 3c. Divide by 5. And d is equal to, I'll put this in alphabetical order, 3c plus f over 5. If you wrote f plus 3c over 5, that's fine. Alright, then what do we have? We're solving for m, so subtract 9n from each side, then divide by 5. M is 15 minus 9n over -5. So Margot uses 2 feet of thread for every 3 squares. How many squares can she sew if she has 38 feet? So 2 feet for 3 squares and 38 feet. So the feet are on top. You need to keep same on the same side of the fraction. 38 feet for how many squares? Cross multiply to solve. You get 2x is equal to, come 38 times 3, and then divide by 2. X is equal to, calculate this out, and we get 57 squares. Number 16, same situation. We keep inches on top. 0.5 inches equals 80 miles. And so 8.25 inches equals how many miles? Cross multiply to solve. 0.5x is equal to 8.25 times 80. Divide by 0.5. Type that in. X is equal to 1,320 miles. 54 students who attended first meeting, then 45. We want to know percent of change, identify as increase or decrease. So we find the difference, put it over the original. It's that easy, and that is 17%. That comes out, by the way, to be 0.16 repeating, but it says the nearest whole percent, so please read the instructions closely, and that is an increase. All right. Here we have, I'll just post this one up quickly for you. So there you go, 3,200 times 20%. Remember to change your percents to decimals when calculating. The reduction is 640, so we're going to subtract that and to get our reduced price. Then we need to pay tax on top of that. Careful, move the decimal 2 places. That's 0.075, not 0.75. That gets you $192 in tax. That needs to be added to the reduced price to get me a total of $2,752. Then here we have a mixture problem. All right, for a mixture problem, let's set up our table. Remember, 3 rows, 3 columns. The last one is going to be our mixture. Okay, so mixture goes down here. Mix. Let's see what we got. We've got bluegrass, so we'll call that B, bluegrass. Tall fescue, fescue right here. Here the costs of the different types. The mixture costs $5.25, and it says how much tall fescue. Okay, that tells us where a variable goes. Tall fescue. How much of this? These are dollars. This is amount, and this is total. Okay. Need to use in 5 pounds of the mixture. So the mixture, we have 5 pounds. We have fescue, that's X. Now what goes up here? Well, what I like to do is give myself an example. If this was 2, then I'd have 3 here. To get that, I have to do 5 minus 2 gives me 3. So, if it's X, I have to do 5 minus X to know what goes in there. All right, then I'm going to fill these in. That gives me left to right, 5 times 5x, 5.75, times 5 minus x. Then here I have 450, 4.5x, and down here I have 5.25 times 5, and that's 26. Multiply these 2.25. Alright, I'm running out of time here, so here are our next steps. We'll take this first column plus 4.5x, and that equals this third one. So that's how I set up my equation. Distributive property gives me 28.75 minus 5.75x plus 4.5x. Combine these like terms, and you get 1.25. Subtract 28.75 from each side, divide by 1.25, you get x equals 2. And that's all we have time for today. Good luck. Check the rest of the answers on the website.